Online fame can be one of the most destructive substances on earth. Just ask Sean Mkhize, the woman better known to South Africa as Mom Mkhize. Before she was a reality TV star and a flamboyant football club owner, she was a businesswoman who built a fortune from the ground up, amassing millions through government contracts and a sprawling business empire. She lived a lifestyle of unimaginable luxury, a symbol of success and black excellence. But once she got a taste of that public notoriety, that adoration, she ramped things up in building a brand around her wealth and her family, placing herself and her football club, Royal AM, squarely in the spotlight. She presented an image of untouchable prosperity, a narrative that was never going to go unchecked when the numbers stopped adding up and the taxman came knocking. And ever since she was exposed, the woman who had it all has been in a downward spiral of legal defeats.
News this afternoon, we now know that police have confirmed that SARS officials are currently raiding the home of the controversial businessperson Sean Mkhize in Umhlanga in KwaZulu-Natal.
Asset seizures and humiliating expulsions. Now incapable of letting go and harboring resentment over how her empire was dismantled, Sean Mkhize is watching everything she built crumble to dust. And if she's not careful, she might lose her freedom too. Welcome to Africa, our tales. And this is why Sean Mkhize's downfall keeps getting worse.
Now, you'd remember a few months ago, SARS conducted a raid at Mkhize, Miss Mkhize's home, the owner of a well-known soccer club. During that raid, a whole cache of firearms were seized. All of those firearms were registered to a security company belonging to none other than Mr. Kat Motlala.
In case you weren't following the saga as it exploded all over South African news, she got famous for her insane wealth, her larger-than-life personality, and her foray into professional football. This was a woman who drove fleets of luxury cars, lived in multiple mansions, and owned a premier soccer league club that she branded in her family's signature gold. She was the queen of her own universe, preaching a gospel of success and ambition.
But all what I want to share with everybody today is to say, you must never give up your dreams. You must fight for your dreams and you must dream big. One day you'll achieve what you want to achieve. And falling, it doesn't mean that you are failing. Falling, it means you are learning, and you must learn from your faults and rise up and be a better person.
From the moment she took over Royal AMFC, she was a constant headline, delivering sound bites about winning and making the club a feared brand. This apparently resonated with people as she pulled in millions of social media followers and became a staple of celebrity gossip shows. And with that, her gamble of turning her business success into a full-blown media personality seemed to pay off. But as much as she preached that everything was built on hard work and business savvy, this wasn't the whole truth. For one thing, she claimed this empire was built on solid, compliant foundations, not just on one occasion, but constantly. The image was always one of a self-made billionaire, but behind the scenes, a very different story was unfolding, a story decades in the making. This all began not with a reality show, but with a construction company called Zikulise. This was the real source of her wealth, a company that scored over R1 billion in government tenders, primarily for building low-income houses. But the way those contracts were awarded was always shrouded in controversy, with allegations of flawed processes and bypassing standard competitive tender rules altogether. This was the first crack in the foundation.
There are quite a number of allegations when you are talking about Sean Mkhize. Just recently, it was reported, a while ago rather, it was reported that soccer team, Royal AM Football Club, was sponsored by the Msunduzi municipality, and there were funds that were given to this particular football club. However, there was a public outcry coming from a lot of people asking questions in terms of how the Msunduzi municipality was able to give or to sponsor this particular football.
And then there were the taxes. This wasn't some new problem. Back in 2005, Mkhize was actually convicted of tax fraud. And years later, in the 2010s, the South African Revenue Service, SARS, was already after her and her former husband for a staggering 204 million rand in unpaid taxes dating back to 2008. They seized 128 cars and 10 properties back then. So when SARS showed up again in 2024, it wasn't a surprise. It was a pattern. A decades-long pattern of challenging the tax authority and, according to the courts, outright non-compliance. But in the blink of an eye, her entire ruse was left in tatters, courtesy of a legal sledgehammer known as the Tax Administration Act. On one fateful day in November 2024, SARS delivered a knockout blow. They went to the High Court and got a preservation order, placing Royal AMFC and the Shandy Trust, which held all her major assets, under the control of a court-appointed curator. This wasn't a polite request. It was a hostile takeover by the state. The curator was immediately given the sole power to fire directors.
Belonging to controversial Durban businesswoman Sean Mkhize, better known as Mum Mkhize, will go under the hammer this morning in Johannesburg and Pietermaritzburg.
Take over bank accounts and manage every single asset. The message was clear. Mum Mkhize was no longer in charge. She was a spectator in the collapse of her own empire. This was followed by the most public humiliation imaginable. Coordinated raids involving SARS, the police, and the Hawks stormed her lavish homes in Durban and Sandton, as well as the Royal AM headquarters. They were there to seize assets and secure evidence. The image was jarring. The taxman carting away the very symbols of her wealth, all to settle a reported 37 million rand tax debt. This was the moment the facade shattered for everyone to see. The curated Instagram life collided with the cold, hard reality of the law. Initially, Mum Mkhize knew she was in trouble and fought back in the only way she knew how, through the courts. But this wasn't a fight she could win. She filed urgent applications. She appealed. She tried to force the curator to give her club a lifeline. But every single time, the judges shut her down. In February 2025, she tried to force the curator to issue a comfort letter to the Premier Soccer League, a guarantee that the club could pay its bills and play its games. The court threw it out for lack of urgency, basically saying she was trying to use the legal system to bypass the very rules she had broken. It was a defining legal defeat. The court established that the curator's duty was to SARS and to recovering that tax debt, not to saving Mum Mkhize's football club. Her assets, even the public-facing football team, were now irrevocably committed to paying the state what she owed. This state-mandated financial paralysis immediately triggered an insurmountable operational breakdown for Royal AM. The club, now controlled by a curator whose job was to sell its assets, simply ran out of cash. Employees and players went unpaid. The players rightfully went on strike, refusing to train or play. The soccer league had no choice. In April 2025, the league's board of governors, made up of all the other clubs, voted to expel Royal AM with immediate effect. Just like that, the club was dead. It was a mandatory regulatory termination. The league finished the season with 15 teams. Mamkize's golden dream was over, but she wasn't done fighting. And in doing so, she may have committed her most brazen mistake yet. In July 2025, she took the PSL to the High Court, trying to appeal the expulsion. But instead of saving the club, the judge delivered a brutal autopsy of her governance failures. The court confirmed the club had violated the league's constitution by changing its shareholding and directorship back in 2023 without even telling the PSL, let alone getting permission. But the most critical finding was truly shocking. The court revealed that after the curator was installed, after the court had given him sole authority, Mamkize had purportedly appointed herself as a director of the club again in April 2025. This was a direct, explicit violation of a binding High Court order. It was an active undermining of the judicial process itself. This single act of defiance solidified the legal basis for her expulsion and proved to the world that she was unwilling to operate within the constraints of the law. And while all this financial and sporting chaos was unfolding, the situation took an even darker, more sinister turn. Remember, this was about a 40 million rand tax debt. In July 2024, the senior SARS advocate who was leading the investigation into Mamkize, a woman named Corith Nodé, was ambushed outside a hotel in Umhlanga and shot multiple times. She was critically injured but survived. The SARS commissioner immediately condemned it, saying it was a clear attempt to intimidate state officials. Now, the available information doesn't directly link Mamkize to this attack, and 2 suspects were later arrested. But the undeniable fact is this: the person shot was the lead investigator in her multi-million rand tax case. It created a narrative of extreme violent resistance surrounding this entire affair, highlighting the insane stakes and volatile environment that high-profile tax enforcement can create in South Africa. In the aftermath, with her club dead and a reputation in tatters in South Africa, Mamkize did what any dethroned monarch would do. She looked for a new kingdom. Just months after the expulsion was finalized, she pivoted to the neighboring kingdom of Eswatini. In a highly publicized move in July 2025, she was unveiled as the new president of Mbabane Highlanders FC, one of Eswatini's most successful clubs. The club was swiftly rebranded to Mbabane Highlanders AM, adding her son Andile's initials and incorporating the gold colors of the defunct Royal AM. She stood there, making the same bold promises, vowing to elevate the club and make it the most feared brand in Eswatini. It was a carbon copy of her initial playbook, but mirroring the governance issues that killed Royal AM, the new venture immediately faced procedural instability. Reports emerged that the ownership transfer was stalling because Mamkize failed to complete the necessary paperwork on time. Even when it was finally done, she had to publicly address existing factions and boardroom wrangles within the club. The initial failure to execute a clean, timely acquisition in a new jurisdiction was a massive red flag. It indicated that the underlying corporate behavior, a disregard for regulatory process and timelines, was a systemic vulnerability, not a one-time mistake. She wasn't just moving to a new country, she was exporting her governance risk. So, where does that leave Sean Mkhize today? The downfall is a comprehensive systemic failure. This wasn't a market crash or bad luck. This was the successful, decisive application of the rule of law. A decades-long pattern of non-compliance culminated in SARS using a legal sledgehammer to enforce curatorship. That state intervention instantly paralyzed the football club, exposing profound governance failures that led directly to its mandatory expulsion. The judicial process upheld the state's actions at every single stage. Her legal maneuvering and massive public profile ultimately failed to override fundamental financial and corporate regulations. The financial ramifications are far from over. SARS is still liquidating her seized assets to recover that 40 million rand. The unpaid players and staff from the club's final days are relying on that same liquidation process to get their lost wages. And most ominously, Mkhize still faces potential judicial repercussions for that unauthorized attempt to appoint herself as a director in direct violation of the preservation order.